Hello folks, I'm Alex, this is Alex Unabridged, and these are the 10 worst books I've ever read, according to Goodreads. So welcome back to the channel if that is the case. Yes, last week I did the 10 best books I've ever read according to Goodreads, so now it's time to look at the flip side and what Goodreads reckons are the worst books. So again, this is the same rules as last time. It's only novels, adult novels, so no kids stuff in here, over about 150 pages, so no really short stuff. Only one thing per series, and only books with over 1,000 public ratings. Those are the rules by which I have come up with this list, or Goodreads has come up with this list. So let's dive straight in then. And in at number 10, we've got The Cabin in the Woods, the official movie novelisation by Tim Leben, with an average rating of 3.66. I think this is a bit harsh, to be honest. I've not seen the film, so I can't speak to how close to the film it is. But I read this for Garb August last year. And I gave it a 4-star. I thought it was really good fun. It was twisty, it was turny, it was bonkers. It had, you know, all of the kind of silly horror elements that I wanted from it. It was well written. I do like Tim Leben. So yeah, I liked it a lot. I really liked it. So yeah, I think that's harsh, personally. It certainly is not in my 10 worst books list in my head. Okay, in at number 9 is The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. This gets an average rating of 3.64. Yeah, I agree with this being on the list, to be honest. I gave it a 3-star, but I think it probably could go down as far as 2.5. Yeah, Wells is one of those for me where I like the concept. I love the concept of Wells stuff. And I like a lot of his kind of writing style, but I do often find that he tended to go off on tangents that kind of, to me, always are detrimental to the pacing. So they're important books in terms of, you know, they're part of the historical canon, if you like, of science fiction and stuff like that, absolutely. And I can enjoy them, but they do irritate me in that respect. But yes, The Invisible Man, yeah, probably agree with that being in there. Sorry, Wells fans. So yes, number 8 then is Grasshopper Jungle by Andrew Smith, with an average rating of 3.63. Yeah, I don't agree with that being in there. I really liked that. 4 stars I gave it. I don't know why it's kind of that far down. I mean, I suppose 3.63 isn't too bad a rating, but maybe it's because its sense of humour is extremely puerile. It's a bonkers book, but it's written from the perspective of a teenage boy who is kind of, you know, dealing with a lot of testosterone and the fact that he is, you know, attracted to and, well, in love with both his girlfriend and his best friend, his male best friend. And yeah, he is just, you know, dominated by testosterone. But it's still, the way it's done is very amusing. And as I say, it's part of the protagonist's, the narrator's character. And it's also got a hell of a lot of really interesting kind of philosophy in it, if you like. And kind of personal history. So yeah, I think it's a really good book, but maybe for some people the humour was just not their cup of tea, or you know, there was too much of it. I don't know, but yeah, I really liked it. Okay, in at number 7 then is Heckler's Children by James Brogden with an average rating of 3.61. Yeah, I agree that this should be there. I gave this a 2-star. I'd read one of James Brogden's as part of these were both on the Audible Plus catalogue. This was way back when I first started listening to audiobooks in 2020. And I read The Plague Stones, or listened to The Plague Stones, and I really liked that one. That one was really good fun. So I tried some more James Brogden with Heckler's Children, and yeah, it started off quite well, but it went off the rails really quickly. It kind of became just a bit nonsensical at times. It was very hard to follow, and not in a good way. And it just, as I say, it just went off the rails. And it took a turn at one point in terms of its plot and what it was doing, and I just kind of went, what? And it changed into virtually a different book. It was one of those, and not in a good way. So yeah, I didn't get on with that one at all. So yeah, that's probably fair that it's in here. Okay, in at number 6 is Tell Me I'm Worthless, with 3.57 as an average rating. This is Alison Rumfitt's haunted house trans horror, which I read very recently. Now, I gave it a 3.5 star, so my rating is actually lower than Goodreads average, but it definitely does not deserve to be on the worst books. The rating for me was based on how I do my ratings. It was brought down by a low enjoyment score because it was a very difficult read because of the trans elements to it, and my score for the writing was a little lower because I didn't get on with the writing style so much. But it's a very good book. It's one of those where my rating doesn't necessarily reflect the quality of the book, much more so my kind of experience with it. But yeah, it's a really good book. So it certainly doesn't deserve to be on the worst list, I'll certainly say that. But the actual review rating, yeah, I can kind of see that. Okay, in at number 5 is Snowblind by Ragnar Jonasson. So this is a Nordic noir crime thriller. More of a mystery, I would say. It's a bit of a less dark one. This has a rating of 3.55. I gave it a rating of 3.5, but again, it's not one of the worst books I've ever read by far. It's probably middling in my kind of whole load of books. It's middling. It was enjoyable. It was a really enjoyable read, and I would read some more of that series of that particular police detective. So yeah, it's definitely not one of the worst books I've ever read, for sure. But the rating itself, yeah, I think that's probably fair. Okay, in at number 4 is Night Flyers by George R.R. Martin, with an average rating of 3.49 out of 5. Yeah, again, do not agree that this should be on the worst list for me. I gave this a 4 star. I really enjoyed this. And bear in mind, I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones. But maybe that's why it gets a lower rating. Maybe people have come to it after being fans of Game of Thrones, and it's very different. I mean, it's science fiction to start with. But yeah, it's very different to Game of Thrones. And maybe it's just not what people wanted from Martin's stuff, that based on what they'd read before. I don't know. But I really liked it. I thought it was great. It was quite a fast read. It wasn't hugely long. It was dark. It had some horror elements. It was mysterious. Yeah, it was a great concept. Yeah, I really liked it. So that does not deserve to be on the worst list at all. Okay, in at number 3 is The Teleportation Accident by Ned Bowman, with an average rating of 3.43. I don't agree with that rating, but I agree that it should be on this list. I gave it a 1 star. It's rare that I give something a 1 star, but it's, yeah, awful. Possibly the worst book I've ever read. I have another one of Ned Bowman's that I bought recently, It's the Venomous Lumpsucker, which is a reasonably recent release of his. Because I want to give him another chance, because the teleportation accident is from a long time ago, many years ago. So, you know, I think, oh, he's probably grown as a writer, I'll try something else. But yeah, I do remember that being just awful. The humour just did not land at all for me. And I kind of kept going with it, because it was back in the day when I was like, I didn't like DNFing things. So I trudged my way through it, and kind of wish that I hadn't. It's one of those. So yeah, absolutely deserves to be on this list. In at number 2 then is Alien Covenant Origins, so an Alien tie-in book by, oh goodness, I've forgotten who it's by. Might be Alan Dean Foster, that one. It'll be up on screen. And this gets an average rating of 3.36. This does not deserve to be on the worst books list. I really enjoyed this. It was 4 stars for me. I was pleasantly surprised by how good it was. And yeah, it's. I mean, I think maybe it's got a lower thing because it is, you know, it's a prequel to Alien Covenant, and to be fair, there aren't any aliens in it. It's about the crew and the kind of the game playing, the political kind of manipulation, and some kind of other sort of more nefarious stuff going on in the background with the, you know, Weyland-Yutani corporations and kind of the government and, you know, the kind of the crew and all that kind of stuff. So it's a different sort of story, but it was very well done. It was very well written. I think I had it as an audiobook. It was well narrated. And it was pacey. It was engaging. It kind of, you know, it was exciting in parts. There was some good action in it and everything. I think it's a good book. So yeah, absolutely do not agree with it being on the worst list, especially this high up, or this low down. And then at number 1, then we've got Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca. At 3.26 as an average rating. Absolutely, categorically disagree with that. I read Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and Other Misfortunes, and that is what this is rated for. Last year, I thought it was really good. I gave it a 4.5 stars. I really liked Eric LaRocca's writing, and I liked the twisted darkness of it. It was, you know, it wasn't perfect by any means. There was a lot I could criticize, but it was the feeling it gave me as I was reading it. It was quite a visceral experience. And, you know, when it's horror, that's what I wanted to do. But it had, you know, he has some really, I really like his style, his prose style. It's quite poetic. And yeah, he just manages to creep me the hell out. So yeah, I really like that book. So again, absolutely categorically disagree with it being on here. I think it's one where, you know, it was quite a sort of an indie one that then became mainstream, and lots of people went and read it because it was getting a lot of hype, and maybe they got more than they bargained for, or maybe they didn't get what they thought they were getting. So I don't know, but yeah, it seems to be quite a divisive one, maybe. But I'm on the side of I think it's great. So there we go. That is the worst books I've ever read according to Goodreads. Most of which I thoroughly disagree with. Some of which I wholeheartedly endorse. So that will do from me today, I think. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Do let me know in the comments what your take is on any of the books that have popped up in the worst books list here. I'd be very interested to see what other people's opinions are on these. I will be back, obviously, with another video of some variety in a few days' time, so I do hope that you will join me again then. But from me, for now, that's ta-ra.